Hello guys, welcome to CUT UG Political Science class. In today's class we are going to see the last chapter of Indian politics since independence. Okay, so I have already told you there are two books for you to study for the CUT exam. And this is the first book which we are going to finish with this chapter. The chapter name is Chapter 8, Recent Developments in Indian Politics. So this chapter, what we are going to see is in the last 20 years, what has happened. Okay, in the last 20 years, what has happened in the Indian politics, especially now we are in 2025, from 2004 onwards. Okay, so that is what we are going to see. And before that, there is after Indira Gandhi, what has happened from 1989 till 2004, there was a coalition government which was taking place, and we are going to see each and every coalition government, how they were formed, and what are the issues which were there from 1989 to 2004, and from 2004 to 2000, to 24. Okay, so this is the main thing here. The main focus is on from 2004 onwards, but before going to 2004 we have to know how it all came about. Okay, so there is a history also from 1989 till 2004 what has happened. Okay, so in this chapter a symptomatic view of the last 2 decades of politics which we are going to see. Then we have these developments are complex for various kinds of factors came together to produce unanticipated outcomes in this period. We have globalization, liberalization, globalization, and privatization, what we called as LPG, and there was Ram Janmabhoomi issue was there. Okay, and so many other things also. So the new era in politics was impossible to foresee. It is still very difficult to understand. So let us see this chapter. So in this chapter we are going to see these are some of the questions we learn from when we see this history. What are the implications of the rise of coalition politics for our democracy? Earlier we know that in the early decades, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, there was a Congress dominance was there. But after that it all went, and then we have coalition politics here in India, as we see from after Indira Gandhi's emergency. So what are the implications of that rise of coalition politics? And very important point is about mandalization. There was a Mandal commission, and first time the reservations were given to OBCs as well. Okay, so the other backward classes, so that also we are going to see. And in which ways will it change the nature of political representation? This is one important question from if we learn these last 2 decades of politics. Another question is about what is the legacy of Ram Janmabhoomi movement, and finally what does the rise of a new policy consensus do the nature of political choices. Okay, so in this chapter the chapter does not give the answers to these questions, but definitely these questions basically are very important to ask, and we have necessary information in this chapter, so everyone have their own idea and they can have their own views here. Okay, so this chapter basically helps us to answer, okay, these questions, but the answers are not given in the chapter. Okay, so just note down these questions which are very important to understand the last 2 decades of Indian politics. Okay, let us see the context of 1990s, what happened. After Indira Gandhi, we know Rajiv Gandhi became the prime minister, and after the assassination of Indira Gandhi, we know that he led the Congress to massive victory in the Lok Sabha elections, and immediately thereafter in 1984. And as the decade of the 80s came to close, the country witnessed 5 developments that were to make a long-lasting impact on our politics. Number 1, I am going to explain you the 5 developments, and then we will see the next part. Okay, so first part is about the most crucial development of this period was the defeat of the Congress party in the elections held in 1989. So Indira Gandhi was assassinated, so the whole the India, there was a huge wave in favor of Congress, and hence in 1984 elections Congress won. But what happened in 1989, it was a defeat for Congress. So this was the first crucial development. The party that had won as many as 415 seats in the Lok Sabha in 1984 was reduced to 197. So huge, there was a big debacle here, you see. So this happened. This was a very big shock for the Congress party, and also for Indian politics as such. We could not just imagine this happened. Okay, so this was the first development. The Congress improved its performance and came back to power soon after the midterm elections held in 1991. But the elections of 1989 marked the end of what political scientists have called the Congress system. So there can be a question, in which year the Congress system came to end? Okay, so it was in 1989. Okay, so you know that these numbers 197 is not okay, it is not enough for forming a government. We need at least 272 and plus seats in the Lok Sabha. So Congress could not form the government there. So no, after having so representation or from support from other parties, it formed the government. We are going to see all those things in this chapter. Okay, so 1985 election, Congress had 415 seats, but in 1989 election it won only 197. So to be sure, the Congress remained an important party and ruled the country more than any other party even in this period since 1989, but it lost the kind of centrality it early enjoyed in the party system. Okay, so there was a Congress party and different parties will be supporting those things were happening in India from 1950s onwards. But in 1989, the Congress lost the elections. Okay, it just got 197. So that was a big change, the first development. The second development of this era is about the rise of Mandal issue in national politics. So this followed the decision by the National Front government in 1990. So the National Front government was formed after this 1989 elections, and to implement the recommendation of the Mandal Commission that jobs in the central government should be reserved for the other backward classes as well. So you know that by constitution the reservations are given to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes only. Okay, for the OBCs, which we called as the Shudra. Okay, the Shudras did not have the reservations, but the Mandal Commission gave that. Okay, that actually recommended that these people should have, the other backward classes also should have the reservation. So this led to violent anti-Mandal protests as well in different parts of the country. This dispute between the supporters and the opponents of the OBC reservations was known as the Mandal issue. Okay, and was to play an important role in the shaping of the politics since 1989. The third development is about the economic policy that followed the various governments took a radical different turn. You know, we have this socialist economic policy. Of course, we had a mixed economy, but in 1990s there was a big change. We accepted the liberalization, privatization and globalization, LPG concept here. This is also known as the initiation of the structural adjustment program or the new economic reforms when Manmohan Singh was the finance minister at that time. So this was the third development of this era, started by Rajiv Gandhi. These changes first became very visible in 1991 and radically changed the direction that the Indian economy had pursued since independence. Okay, so this has led to a large, big IT sector which we have today, and also the rise of the middle class also took place after this development. So these policies have been widely criticized by that time, but various movements and organizations, but the various governments that came to power in this period have continued to follow this. Okay, there were other different governments came basically till 2014. Okay, there was a coalition government only was there, but all the governments, there were different prime ministers at that time. We have Narasimha Rao, followed by, we have Deve Gowda and so many other people, I.K. Gujral and many others. But, nobody changed this policy, so we are following that. The fourth development is the centuries old legal and political dispute over the Ram Janmabhoomi temple in Ayodhya. So it started influencing the politics of India, which gave birth to various political changes. Ram Janmabhoomi temple movement becoming the central issue of that at that time. And also there was a Rath Yatra by L.K. Advani also at that time, and transformed the direction of the discourse on secularism and democracy. So one side we were opening our economy, on the other hand the issue of Ram Janmabhoomi was also there at that time. Okay, these changes are culminated in the construction of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple, Ram temple in Ayodhya, followed by the decision of the Supreme Court in November 9, 2019. Final judgment of the Supreme Court came. So this was the fourth development. And last final development is the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi at that time. So Indira Gandhi was also assassinated. Rajiv Gandhi was also assassinated. He was assassinated in May 1991, led to a change in the leadership of the Congress party. He was assassinated by Sri Lankan LTTE, okay, when he was on an election campaign tour in Tamil Nadu. In the elections of 1991, Congress emerged as the single largest party again. So it will not be wrong if we could say that the assassination of Indira Gandhi okay, helped again Congress to come back to power, as well as we can see in the 1991 elections again, after the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, the Prime Minister, again the Congress became the single largest party. So following Rajiv Gandhi's death, the party chose Narasimha Rao. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. Okay, so this era in the last 20 years, we could say that before 2014, okay, it's a era of coalition. Even today, the main parties basically form coalitions, alliances. So elections in 1989 led to the defeat of the Congress party, but did not result in a majority of any other party. Okay, so there was Congress was not getting no, the absolute majority to form the government, but there was no other party to form government as well. So though the Congress was the largest party in the Lok Sabha, it did not have a clear majority, as I told you. So it decided to sit in the opposition. So a new front comes. Point to be noted, Janata Party came there after emergency. Now there is a new era, the National Front, which itself was an alliance of Janata Dal and some other regional parties, received support from two diametrically opposite political groups. Very interesting point is that the National Front government, okay, in the 1989, it was supported by the BJP and the Left Front. They did not want to have Congress, okay, government. Hence, BJP and Left supported the National Front, where Janata Dal, many other regional parties were part of it. Okay, and Congress decided to sit in the opposition. Okay, so this happened after the 1989 elections. On this basis, the National Front formed a coalition government, but the BJP and the Left Front did not join this government. So they were just supporting. Okay, after 1989 elections, the the National Front government was formed. Who was supporting it? The BJP and the Left were supporting it, but they did not become part of the government. Decline of the Congress. The defeat of the Congress party marked the end of Congress dominance over the Indian party system. So way back in the late 60s, the dominance of the Congress party was also challenged. We know what happened during, Indira Gandhi's time, and, there was a split within the Congress itself, Congress I and Congress O. But later again, Indira Gandhi proved to be a big leader at that time after the liberation, the Bangladesh liberation war, and she became very powerful, and Congress was united again. The same challenge again happened in the 1980s as well. Okay, managed, but here also again the Congress comes, but not that much powerful. Okay, it did not, however, mean the emergence of any other single party to fill its place. Congress was a huge, big party at the time, hence no other party could match it. But of course, it could not have its government on its own. Era of multi-party system. To be sure, a large number of political parties always contested elections in our country. Okay, but there was emergence of several parties which take place in the 1989 in such a way that one or two parties did not get most of the votes or seats. So India's democracy is multi-party system. Okay, in 1980s, the thing is that no party was getting, during this 1980s till 2014, no party was getting the majority. Okay, they were not, just taking the halfway mark, okay, of the Lok Sabha. So many parties were contesting, and many different Samajwadi parties, regional parties, all these parties were getting seats according to their power in the region. So this also means that no single party secured a clear majority from 1989 till 2014. So hence we call it as an era of multi-party system. This development initiated an era of coalition governments at the center, in which regional parties played a crucial role in forming ruling alliances, but in 2014 and 19 Lok Sabha election, the BJP got clear majority. So this changed from 2014. Okay, so from 1989 till 2014, there was a coalition politics, and the regional parties were very powerful at the time. Alliances politics. The 90s saw the emergence of powerful parties and movements that represented the Dalit and the backward caste, the OBCs. Many of these parties represented powerful regional association as well. So these parties played an important role in the United Front government that came to power in 1996. See, National Front government came to power in 1989 and United Front government came to power in 1996. We need to know the names of the governments, also the year. Okay, so this is United Front government in 1996. The United Front was similar to National Front of 1989, for it included Janata Dal and several regional parties. This time the BJP did not support the government. Okay, so this is the case. So in 1989, BJP and the left were supporting it. Okay, the National Front. But what happened after Narasimha Rao's time? Again there was a coalition. Okay, it was a United Front, it was called, and this time the BJP did not support it. So the United Front government was supported by now Congress. This shows how unstable the political equations were. In 1989, both the left and BJP supported the National Front government, as I told you, because they wanted to keep the Congress out of power. And right now in 1996, the left continued to support the non-Congress government, but this time the Congress supported it, as both the Congress and the left wanted to keep the BJP out of power. So basically the Ram Janmabhoomi issue, the Rath Yatra of BJP, it supported, it basically helped BJP to come to power and have it, electoral gains as well. Hence in this era you can see the left and the Congress wanted to have this government, the United Front government, and they don't want to keep, they don't want to have BJP in power. Okay, so the equations changed from 1989 to 1996. In 1989, the left and the BJP did not want Congress to come to power, hence they supported the National Front. But here now in 1996, the Congress and the left are supporting the United Front government, which was there with many Janata Dal, some parties and the regional parties, because they don't want BJP to come to power. So this was the equation at that time. So this was coalition politics. Okay, the next part is about alliance politics. The Congress and the other regional parties did not succeed for long, as the BJP continued to consolidate its elections from 1991-1996, and you know that the Ram Janmabhoomi issue was there in this time, and there was a Babri Masjid demolition also, which took place in December 6, 1992. Okay, so BJP emerged as the largest party in the 1996 election and was invited to form the government, but most other parties were opposed to its policies, and therefore the BJP government could not secure a majority in the Lok Sabha, and there was a very, within 15 days or less than that, Atal Bihari Vajpayee had to resign. Okay, so it finally came to power by leading a coalition government from May 1998 to June 1999 and was re-elected in October 1999. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister during both these NDA governments, and his government formed in 1999 completed its full term. The first time the Bharatiya Janata Party's alliances completed the full term, it was from 1999 to 2004. Thus, with the elections of 1989, a long phase of coalition politics began in India. Since then, there has been 11 governments at the center, all of which have either been coalition or minority government supported by other parties which did not join the government. In this new phase, any government could be formed only with the participation or support of the many regional parties. This applied to National Front. See, listen here, this is very important point here, which I am mentioning here in this part, that what are the names of the government and which year this is mentioned here. So, National Front in 1989, okay, then you have United Front in 1996, and then in 1997 the BJP led coalition in 1998, okay, United Front was in 1996-1997, BJP led coalition in 1998, the NDA in 1999, UPA in 2004 and 2009. Okay, however this trend is changed basically from 2014 where BJP came to power. Okay, so this is the slide which I want to make here. You see who was the Prime Minister at the time. From 1989 onwards, this year is very important, okay, because the coalition politics, okay, coalitions were formed earlier at the state level, but first time in the center that we are having this one. Okay, from December 1989 to 1999, VP Singh was the prime minister at the time. The government was called as National Front government, and it was supported by Left Front and the BJP. Next we have Chandrasekhar as the prime minister from November 1990 to June 1991. It was a section of the National Front led by Samajwadi Party, Janata Party, Samajwadi Janata Party, then supported by Congress. And then after that you have PV Narasimha Rao, was from a Congress government was formed June 1991 to May 1996. Okay, supported by ADMK, AIADMK and smaller some other parties. And then we have AB Vajpayee, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, May 1996 to June 1996. You see the time is very less, and it was a BJP minority government. And H.D. Devagowda became the prime minister from June 1996 to April 1997. It was a united front government with Congress support. Then again A.B. Vajpayee comes from March 1998 to October 1999. And then again elections happen, and you have the BJP completes its term, the NDA alliance. It is called as NDA, National Democratic Alliance Government, led by BJP. Okay, it was from again October 1997 to May 2004. From 2004 till May 2014, it was Manmohan Singh's government. It was the United Progressive Alliance government led by INC and many other coalition parties. Then we have Narendra Modi as Prime Minister from May 2014 onwards, the National Democratic Alliance government led by BJP. So with this we conclude today's class. There is a lot more coming in this chapter. We will see tomorrow. Thank you.